In a world where dreams meet reality, there exists a place where your business can flourish. That place is Shopify. Imagine having the power to craft your online store with tools that make it as easy as a gentle breeze. Whether you're an artisan of handmade wonders, a creator of digital treasures, or a curator of the latest trends, Shopify stands by your side. With its customizable templates, seamless integrations, and support that's always there, your dream store is just a heartbeat away. Join millions of visionaries around the globe and let Shopify guide you on your journey. Visit roguemedianetwork.com/Shopify. That's roguemedianetwork.com/SHOPIFY. And embark on your free trial. Shopify, where your commerce dreams come to life.
Most bankers aren't ready to help you until after their third cup of coffee. But with Central National Bank's after-hours service, you don't have to wait for the bank lobby to open to get help. You can contact us from 6 to 8:30 in the morning or from 5 to 10 in the evening, and we'll connect you to a real, live, local person who can answer questions and fix problems 7 days a week. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Member FDIC.
Welcome back to What's Up Waco, the podcast that loves to introduce you to the people, the places, and the properties that make Waco an excellent community to live. Hey everybody, welcome to What's Up Waco with Erica Boisvert, your local real estate agent. Today I'm joined by Jeff Payne of Douglas Nissan. Jeff is the GM over there, the puppet master, if you will. Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Thanks for the invite.
No, super stoked to have you here. Thanks for coming in.
Of course.
So you run the dealership.
Correct.
And I'm really curious about that from a management perspective, because usually I talk to business owners. You and I talked about this,
right.
And like connecting in Waco. But I think there's also opportunities for GMs and AGMs to get involved as well.
Sure.
Have you found that to be like a successful approach?
Yeah, for sure. I think that anytime you run and operate a business in a town, especially one that is as close-knit as Waco is, great people, you find that when you're out in the community, people are just super supportive. So even from just an upper-level management perspective or really just anybody in a business, if you're out and about in the community, you can really build those relationships, and people are very willing and excited to listen to what you do and hear about it and learn about it.
I think it's really neat, and I think that's a good point. You know, even from owner to manager to staff, you are all ambassadors of Douglas Nissan, and you're all members of the community. So those connections are super awesome. I've noticed like being in Waco, people are just great, and you've lived all over.
We have, yes.
So what have you noticed about living in Waco that's been maybe a little bit different? Pros, cons?
Yeah, so generally for, all of my adult career and really all of my life, I've lived in the Midwest from, as far north as Iowa to as far south as Austin. And you get some of that small town feel, big town feel. You live in different cities and things like that. And I think Waco has a great balance of all of that, right? Sitting here right between Austin and Dallas, if you wanted to go and see a professional sporting event or get that big town feel or go for a big night out, that sort of stuff, you can do that. But here in Waco, you've got just so many opportunities. It's so easy to get in someplace, great food, great restaurants, great music. There's just a lot to do just right in town.
Right.
That really is a very, very nice mix of the big and the small towns.
Without having to deal with
having to deal with the traffic. Exactly.
Just crowds of people.
Yes.
We get our
100%.
crowds.
100%.
But I mean, my gosh, relatively speaking, especially Austin,
Right.
this is like tiny.
Yes, it is. It
Right.
is compared to both Austin and Dallas where we lived. And I used to when we worked in Dallas, used to live about 20 miles from work, and it would take me an hour to get there. And now I live 20 miles from work, and it takes me 20 minutes to get there. So it's fantastic. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just fly down 6.
Yep.
Whoosh.
On Highway 6, and here we go.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It always kind of because we moved here from a bigger area too. And it's always interesting to me, like the connections people have. And like people who live in Waco have lived here for generations.
Yes.
And I think it speaks a lot about Waco that people don't leave, or even after they leave, like they come back.
Yes, I totally agree.
It's just it's a cool family town.
Yeah, we see that a lot with the people that work for us, the people that I've met at the dealership. There's a lot of people they'll tell me something like, "Oh yeah, that's just by where the old HEB used to be," and I'm like, "I have no idea where that is," but I'm glad you do. I mean, that's fantastic that you know where that's at. But it does speak to that they, people that live in town, love the town, they support the town, they continue to live here and try and grow and work where they live. It's great.
It is. I'm laughing because we had that like a baseball practice when we first moved here, and the coach sent out an email to everybody, and he was like, "Oh, it's by the old elementary." I'm like, I don't even know where the new elementary is yet. Right, like, help me out. Yes. But you're right. It speaks to the fact that they just know and almost assume They just feel like, oh, you're from here.
Right. Yeah.
It's a cool connection. All right, we're gonna switch gears.
Okay.
No pun intended. It was a little intended.
It was good though. I liked it. Yeah.
We're going to talk about the actual car business because I was kind of asking people, I was like, well, what would you want to know if I, bring Jeff in?
Sure.
And so these are some of the questions I got. So we're going
to a look under the hood, as they would say.
Look at that. We're punny people.
Yeah, we've got dad jokes. We can do it.
Dad and mom jokes. Here we go. So we've already we'll get into this one in a minute, but let's see. Does your dealership offer any special services that you'd like to highlight?
That's a great question, actually. So I think we do, right? I mean, it's hard to tell exactly whether or not you would consider them as to be special or not, right? But we do have a very, very cool system that allows us to deliver a vehicle wherever you are. And not only take the vehicle to you, do all the paperwork, that sort of stuff. We can actually have you from your house mirror the finance office that we have at the dealership.
What?
So we have an iPad, or I don't know if I can. Is that copywritten? Can I say iPad? We have technology at our dealership that will allow you on your device at your house to kind of see and follow along, almost like a live DocuSign. Again, I'm probably another copyright infringement there. But
neat little software program.
Yes, that neat little software program that will allow you to electronically sign your paperwork. And we've done a couple of them. We don't normally do it locally. We've done a couple. We did one out in Las Vegas. We did one for a customer in Tennessee. We just happened to have a vehicle, and then we, of course, physically delivered the car to them.
So that's mind-blowing to me. So Vegas and Tennessee, it's probably because they couldn't find it anywhere. And
Correct.
little Douglas Nissan and Little Waco had it for
Correct.
them. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, but I'm back on the, whatever device I'm going to use. I can sit on my couch in my pajamas and buy a car.
Correct. You can.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And we have a lot of people take that process probably 80% of the way through. That happens. That's fairly common now, where they'll take the buying process about 80%. They'll apply for financing. They'll do all that sort of stuff. Take that all the way through. And then for the final, they'll come in, do the test drive, make sure they love it, and then do the actual paperwork with
and then do
us.
Like wet signatures and stuff and finish it up.
Yep, exactly.
That's neat though.
Yeah.
Do you have any Ford Broncos on your lot right now?
We don't.
They're so hard to find.
They are. Thankfully, the Douglas Auto Group does also have a Ford store, so we could make that happen for you. I call my friend over there.
Honey, are you listening? We're gonna need to call the Paynes. So God, that's so cool. I'm mind blown. I'm truly mind blown because I think other, like in my business, there are iBuyers and things like that where they want to facilitate the process for you and make it kind of similarly like that.
Sure.
But you still keep the personal touch, so you can come in and finish it out.
Yeah, and like I said, probably 98% of the people that begin the process online finish it at the store.
That's cool.
It's very common. And I don't necessarily ever see that changing. I know we're in such a digital world, and you have the businesses that promote, hey, do everything online, we'll deliver it to you, all that sort of stuff. We're not seeing a lot of that. We have the ability to, we can do it, but the vast majority of people want to finish the process at the store, do that test drive, do that final paperwork.
And you just read my mind, because that is what I was thinking, those commercials where they're like, you don't even have to leave your house. And then it's like, kind of want to, though. I mean, of all the things you're going to buy, a car is something you want to get into and drive and feel. Because
Right.
I've looked at cars before where I was like, oh, I'm in love with this. I want it. And then I sat in it and I was like, I really hate the way this feels.
Right.
So that's neat. Okay. So, oh gosh. Today in the news, the Fed rate hike again. And so I actually have a question about interest rates, which is funny. So does that hit you guys as much as it hits other industries? Like the Fed rate doesn't really impact us. It raises a mortgage rate a little bit. How does that work for y'all?
Well, and it's similar, right?
Okay.
I mean, because you've got banks borrowing against the Fed funds rate, right? And then they're turning around and loaning that money back out. And so whenever that happens, you can see a little bit of an uptick. We've been fortunate the last 2 increases. We haven't seen any sort of a market sort of a large jump in what the actual rates were that we could offer to borrowers. So it hasn't been like the Fed went up 0.75, and so now all of our rates go up 0.75. There hasn't been a direct correlation there.
Right.
But
there's not like a point for point increase.
Correct. It can certainly happen, but we might see a quarter point here, a quarter point there. Our captive lender, which, not to get too far into the weeds, our captive lender is Nissan Motor Acceptance. We call them NMAC, and they have actually stayed flat for us the last 2 raises, which have been nice. Yeah, I don't know if they'll be able to maintain that again this time. But yeah, their incentivized rates and the things that they've been able to offer to us, to the dealers, so that we can offer to the consumer, have stayed pretty flat.
That's really
the last
cool.
2 raises. Yeah. So.
Okay, so not a whole lot of impact.
No, I mean, the rates are higher than they were. I mean, back, I don't know, a year ago, you may have had those 0% financing for 60 or 72 months, or 1.9. Yeah. We don't have that now. We've got some short-term lower financing, 1.9 at 36 months.
Oh, okay.
So that's still available through NMAC. But they haven't had that out for an extended term for quite some time now.
So can I ask, on average, what you would expect a financing rate to be?
Well, it's credit score driven, right? So I would say right now you're probably looking at an average between 4.9 and 6.9. For someone with decent credit, you know, that 680 to 750 credit score. You start to go past 750, and you can still find some rates in the low 4s, upper 3s in some cases.
So that's not bad at all.
It's not, especially for an extended term, right? I mean, because all these loans are risk-based. So the longer you take the term out, the higher the risk to the bank. So that generally drives the rate up a little bit, but they're doing a good job holding them down and trying to keep the payments where.
It sounds like they're trying to keep it manageable.
They are.
Affordable. I mean,
correct.
You want people to buy your cars, you gotta make it work the best you can, right?
Right, 100%.
All right. So then something else that's come up over the past couple of years, which I'm sure you're probably sick of talking about, so we'll just kind of touch on it really quickly. Chips.
Yeah.
Are you still seeing an issue with that? Is there any quality of what you're getting? Are you having to remove smart functions to accommodate?
It's honestly, it's been a strange, it's definitely been a strange year. In the auto industry, and in many different industries, right? It's been such a strange year with the availability of just product overall. I mean, from microwaves to cars, right? It's been some things have been hard to find. I think Nissan has done a really great job, and I have to give them credit for sending us vehicles that are completely built, right?
Okay.
There hasn't been a sacrifice. We had one model that instead of a 9-inch screen there in the center console, they will provide us with a 7.
Oh.
So a little bit, but
negligible.
All the seat heaters work. Your turn signals are good, and things like that. So I mean,
you're speaking my language. Don't get into the turn signals. I'm not worried about that, but those seat heaters better be hooked 100%, up.
Yeah. So all that has been good. They've done a good job. Not sending us stuff that still needed something. We haven't.
Good.
There hasn't been a shipment of Altimas where we could sell it, but we'd have to tell the customer, hey, by the way, you have to come back in 3 weeks so we can install your whatever widget it is.
Right.
We haven't had any of that. That's been really good.
Cool. Because that is not the typical story over the past 12 to 18 months.
Yeah, exactly. It still is causing shortages. We're still not seeing the amount of inventory we'd like to see, and nowhere near what we had even a year ago, 18 months ago. But I think they've done a good job balancing it. And, the team at the store has done a good job balancing the availability, working with customers for pre-orders and things like that. And so it's gone okay. It's been okay.
Good. And then, so it sounds like there's a good component of customer service and client care.
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, I think and from the manufacturer to the dealer and from the dealer to the customer, the best part about it is the communication's been clear. It's been, hey, here's what we've got, here's what we're facing, so that we could go through and make an accurate business plan and kind of forecast what was going to happen. So,
No, that's awesome. I think communication is the number one. Like anytime somebody's like, I'm so stressed out, I said, when's the last time you talked to whoever you need to talk to?
Yeah.
And that's always the thing. So it's very cool that you guys are on top of that. Sounds like it's important.
Yes.
And a focus.
Correct.
Nice.
It really is.
Your people have to be happy, right?
Right.
People in the building, the people coming to the building.
Yeah. And we talk about it being the car business, but it's really the people business, both from an employee standpoint and from a customer standpoint. So.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I totally agree. I mean, you have to stay connected. And then one other silly question was, how many keys are you able to give on new vehicles right now?
2 every time.
Yay!
Yep, everybody gets 2.
I still have a car in my driveway. We only have one.
Yeah.
But yeah, because those are expensive to replace.
They're very expensive.
So
Correct.
nice. Getting a couple.
They do just about everything now. So
they really do.
Yeah.
Do you guys does Nissan offer remote start?
Yes.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay. So you get 2 new keys, but then you have an app.
Yes.
Okay. And what can you do with the app?
Well, you can do, there's a downloadable, easier for me to say, right? Downloadable app that you can put on your phone called it's a Nissan virtual key with the cars that are equipped with it, right? And it does whatever you want it to do. It'll start the car, remote start it you could start it from Kansas if you wanted to. You can unlock the car. You can even give, this is kind of weird, but you could give someone temporary access to your car.
What?
Yes, you could give them like, hey, son, yes, you can take my car, but you can only have it from 5 to 9 p.m. I get it. You're going out and you want to take the nice car, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it needs to be back at 9. After that, your access to the car is denied. And
would it like shut off?
It won't.
He
shut
wouldn't be
off,
able
like,
to
you just
start
couldn't
it?
get in.
I have 4 teenagers, so that,
Yeah.
oh no, I only have 3. One's 20 now, but that makes me laugh so hard because I would absolutely use that feature.
Yeah.
Even on
Absolutely.
their personal vehicles.
Right. Yeah. You could.
You will be home by 11:30.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're calling me.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
and then it's a whole thing nobody
Right.
wants to deal with.
Right. Thanks.
That is a cool function.
Yeah,
and
that-
just straight from your phone.
Yep.
And you always have your phone.
Yes.
I mean, people lock their keys in their car, but they never lock their phone. Rarely.
Right.
I am speaking from experience.
Yeah. That's the first thing they grab when they get out is their phone. Yep.
Mm-hmm. How fun.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Okay, so 2 keys. Good to know. That was for Kylie. That was for you. You asked. Okay, so then my other question that I was like, we'll come back to that later.
Yeah.
It's later. We're back to it. What brought you to Waco? Like you've lived in like some pretty cool big cities.
Right.
You've lived in itty bitty towns. Like, was it the job? I mean, was it relocation for the company? Were you compelled to come to Waco because you loved the town? Was it a combo?
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess to make a long story long, before I worked here in Waco, this town was part of the dealer group that I called on, or the dealer network that I called on when I was actually with Nissan, with the manufacturer.
Okay.
So I had a territory that included basically Fort Worth and kind of south. We went to Killeen and Temple and over to College Station. And
Oh, wow.
yeah. And so Levi Douglas, who was Douglas Automotive Group, he and I developed a pretty decent working relationship when he had this store and he had the one in College Station. And an opportunity came up, presented itself to actually come and run the store.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd been in retail before, knew kind of what I was getting myself into, and really just decided that, once in a lifetime opportunity, I can't pass this one up.
Okay.
Certainly had been to Waco several times, visited it, coming to call in the dealership and talk about, performance and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Always loved the town, easy to get into, easy to get out of, you know. Yeah, so it was great, and so I didn't have really any hesitation of coming and getting roots here, know, and landing here, and we kind of knew that if we were going to move to take one job, we were going to find somewhere that we could be, right? And not find somewhere that was just going to have to transition to another spot. So
You didn't want like a temporary placeholder. You wanted somewhere you could settle.
correct, yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, I had a really good job with Nissan, but working on that manufacturing side, there's always the possibility that you're going to go and you're going to have to be transferred to somewhere else.
Okay.
It's no different than any corporation that looks for, has field representatives out calling on individual satellite spots. So, love the job, great people, would highly recommend, Nissan as an employer. They're fantastic. But we knew that we wanted to come and find some place that we could just settle and just enjoy. And, a couple of visits, house hunting trips and things like that. And it was pretty apparent that Waco would be a great place to land and raise the kids and let them, go to school and finish out. So, yeah.
No, that's great. And so far, so you landed in China Spring, which is just outside of Waco.
Correct.
About 20 minutes.
About 20 minutes. Yes.
And when you say we, you're talking
Yes.
about you and your lovely wife and your boys, yes?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
The four of us.
How's everybody doing?
They're doing great. They're
Yeah.
doing great. Yeah, it was, like we've talked about, I've moved a lot. And, this one we were concerned about, right? I mean, we're moving our oldest son, sophomore year of high school,
Yeah.
coming in as a junior, and you're like, oh man, this is, yeah. But they came in, they acclimated right away.
Yeah.
The people in the community were wonderful, very welcoming. School district was terrific. They just kind of came in and
Just
hit
plugged
the
them
ground
right
running,
in.
and yeah, they've been
Band, baseball, all the good things.
all the good things. Yeah.
Tennis.
Tennis, yes.
Fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so
we've
cool.
been very, very happy with the school district and the sporting that they've got, and the local clubs, everything.
Yeah,
Great.
it's hard to be upset with China Spring Sports right now.
They're doing okay.
They're doing okay.
They're doing okay. Yeah,
They're doing
absolutely.
pretty well.
Yeah.
Baseball had a fun run last
They
season
really
too.
did. Yeah, it was
Gosh,
great to watch.
That
Great to
whole
watch.
year was just like
Yeah.
from fall to spring fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
We my son is in the band, and
Mhm.
I feel we got to experience that kind of like as part of that football team, because
Oh,
they
for
were there
sure.
and on the field and marching, and it really felt like, and they did a great job of making us feel that way, right?
Yeah.
The football team included the band in activities, and they got a state ring and all that sort of stuff, and it was just great, that whole very much a family feel there.
It
It's
really
wonderful.
is. We live out there too, and our son's also in the band. And so it's everything you're speaking is absolute truth. Like, it was so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And our daughter she graduated, was a trainer for the football team. So she got to be down there and walk
Yeah.
the field and walk the tunnels underneath. Like, it was a super cool experience for the whole community. And I just love on our community so much. Like, China Spring set the record for people showing up for the state championship
It was
football
crazy.
game. It was we
Yeah.
filled half that stadium
Oh, I know.
easily.
It was.
We couldn't
yeah.
find a seat.
No, it was like you were from end zone to end zone
Yeah.
on that visitor side was just, China
Packed.
Spring.
It was fun. Well, good. So is there anything else you'd like people to know about Douglas Nissan? A good way to get in touch with you or your sales staff?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different ways, right? I mean, you can call up to the store,
Sure.
Get the main switchboard. Obviously, you can go online, douglasnissanwaco.com. All of our profiles are listed there. Direct email is listed there if you want to reach out. Anybody would be happy to answer any questions, talk about cars, value a trade-in, whatever you need. And we should be pretty easy to get a hold of. And you have to stop by the store if you want to.
There you go. Yeah, I've never had a problem getting anybody on the phone,
Yeah.
even you.
Yeah. Oh, well, good.
Super easy. Well, very good. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
It was a pleasure.
Hopefully it was pain-free.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Easy.
Yay.
Easy,
See?
easy. Yeah.
As promised.
Right?
All right. Well, thank you so much. You can always reach out to me at Erica Sells Texas on Instagram or Facebook. And my number's 254-447-0180. If you have any questions for Jeff that maybe I didn't get into today, let me know. I'll reach out and I'll get back to you. Y'all have a good day. Do you have a topic you want to talk about? Do you have questions about Waco, the real estate market, how to sell your house, what to look for when you're buying a home? Send me an email, ericasellstexas@gmail.com. Shoot me a text, 254-447-0180. Happy to chat about it. Find me anywhere you listen to your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com.
In a world where dreams meet reality, there exists a place where your business can flourish. That place is Shopify. Imagine having the power to craft your online store with tools that make it as easy as a gentle breeze. Whether you're an artisan of handmade wonders, a creator of digital treasures, or a curator of the latest trends, Shopify stands by your side. With its customizable templates, seamless integrations, and support that's always there, your dream store is just a heartbeat away. Join millions of visionaries around the globe and let Shopify guide you on your journey. Visit roguemedianetwork.com/Shopify. That's roguemedianetwork.com/SHOPIFY. And embark on your free trial. Shopify, where your commerce dreams come to life.